Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're talking about Games Workshop's newest pricing update. This video is sponsored by Sumo Games. More on that later. So I made a video on January 29th, 2024 and warned everybody it was just a matter of time before Games Workshop hit us with another price increase. And here it is. Obviously, I pointed out in the most recent pricing video for this week's official prices, the Chaos Battleforce box sets had gone back to that $230 price point. We saw that around Christmas time. We knew demand was going to be high on those box sets. So Games Workshop took advantage of it and raised them up from $210 to $230. And then over time, we saw the prices of the box sets coming back down. We just saw the Dark Oath box for $200. And then we saw the Adeptus Custodes and the Orcs boxes at $210 with no less value inside. So when the Chaos boxes dropped and the prices dropped and they were back up to $230, it was definitely a slap in the face. But now it makes a lot more sense because Games Workshop once again has officially announced they are raising prices. And we'll talk a little bit about exactly what they're doing and how they're using this to manipulate the market after we take a look at this brief article. So 2024 pricing update. It's an unfortunate truth that the world keeps getting more expensive. Prices for food, materials, and transportation have been trending upward for a few years now, and Warhammer isn't immune to that trend. This means that from the 10th of June, we'll be increasing some prices in our Warhammer stores and on warhammer.com. The price changes for individual products will vary, but in most countries, the average change will be 3% and 5%. As an example of what you can expect, a squad of Necrons goes up $2 from $50 to $52, 30 to 31.50 pounds, and 40 to 41 euros, or local currency equivalent. So in that case, they're demonstrating obviously a 4% price increase. So right in between the 3 and the 5. But obviously we know in the past when they say 3 to 5%, what they mean is 5 to 10%. And we've actually done some videos where we pulled up the prices prior to the increase and then after the increase and demonstrated that in some cases, we actually saw a lot closer to like 8 to 12% price increases. And that's on top of all the stealth price increases that they do throughout the year. A lot of you guys have been following the channel for years now, and about 3 years ago, I started my dice boycott. I used to literally buy every set of faction dice when they would come out, sometimes multiple sets. I love the quality, I love the looks, and let's be real, I have almost every Warhammer army in 40k and Sigmar, so I love to have the dice that correspond with them. But when Games Workshop raised the prices to $2 per die, $40 for 20 dice, or they cut the amount of dice in the pack and kept the price the same, so $32 for 16 dice instead of 20, also referred to as shrinkflation, that was it. I hit the wall and I haven't bought any dice since then. And that was when the dice boycott started. And you'll notice that in my videos over time, I'll randomly, when I'm talking about the dice, mention that the dice boycott continues. And that's literally me just telling you guys that I've stayed strong for years now and have not bought any Warhammer dice from Games Workshop. And now it's been over 3 years since that boycott began. And over the years, many people have talked about how everyone should organize and boycott, or everyone should stop buying. We should all teach Games Workshop a lesson, or 3D print, or buy alternative miniatures, etc. But you know what? Your boy's been doing the dice boycott now for years. And when I think about how many sets of dice that have come out, and a lot of them are cool and it's been hard to resist, but it's literally been hundreds and hundreds of dollars that Games Workshop did not get from me because of raising the prices or shrinking the quantity of dice offered. So maybe it is time for people to organize and actually boycott Games Workshop, or we just accept that, you know what, every year Games Workshop is going to raise their prices. The prices of some of our products aren't changing, such as paint pots and paint sets, the White Dwarf and Black Library products, including digital publications. We understand that no one likes a price rise, and we've done our best to keep prices down. We're giving you a heads up now so that you have plenty of time to take advantage of the current prices. And then there's also a note at the bottom that in Sweden and Norway, the average price change will be between 8 and 14%. So substantially higher than what they're advertising for the rest of the world. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. So I think the most important thing we should take away from this article is that Warhammer is just always going to continue getting more expensive. And that starting on the 10th of June, everything is just going to cost 3 to 5% more. And that's just what Games Workshop is advertising. So again, I would expect it to be substantially more than that, just based on what we've seen in the past. The only things that they're saying won't be going up this time are paint pots, paint sets, White Dwarf, and Black Library products. In the past, they have pledged not to raise prices on starter sets and stuff like that. We know obviously the new Age of Sigmar box set is going to be coming out soon. And I'm specifically sure that they did not mention that because they want to make sure they can raise the price on the Age of Sigmar starter set. So Leviathan was the best box they ever produced, the best value they have ever offered in any product, and it was $250. Normally, Sigmar stuff tends to be priced less. We see a Combat Patrol, for instance, is $160. We see a Vanguard or Spearhead box is $140. And we know for sure that that is because it's less popular and they have less pricing power. So I suspect now that by raising the prices in advance to the new box set coming out, they're going to generate millions, possibly even tens of millions of extra dollars in sales because of this. And let's be real here. Games Workshop stock is not performing particularly well over the last few years, but their earnings are record high. Their profit margins are record high, but their actual volumes are not increasing. So what is actually happening is they're raising prices to make up for the falling sales. So as long as the inverse relationship between the price increases and the sales falling balances out and still ends up with net higher revenue and net higher margins, they're winning. And that's exactly what they're going for. They know that slowly but surely they are losing customers. Even though the game is more popular than it's ever been, even though the IP and Warhammer itself is more well-known and more mainstream than it's ever been, the actual sales and revenue of Games Workshop has barely been rising over the last 3 or 4 years. They had a big pop, obviously, when everything shut down, people were locked at home, had more time to like hobby, gaming online, and just overall the IP surged. But since then, it's been rather stagnant. And while I absolutely love 10th edition 40K, and I think it's the best edition ever, while I think the models are only ever getting better, the new sculpts are absolutely amazing, and I'm super excited for Warhammer Age of Sigmar 4th edition. And again, I suspect it's going to be the best edition of all time as it gets a complete ground-up rework. I can't help but be salty at Games Workshop, because the worst part is the announced 3 to 5% price increase is not actually true. We know for sure it's going to be more than that. So I'm expecting Combat Patrols to go up to at least $165 or $170. I'm expecting Spearhead / Vanguards to go from $140 to probably closer to $150. And the worst part is, this isn't going to affect my ability to buy Warhammer, but I know that every time they raise the prices, it hurts more and more people, turns more and more people away from the game, away from the hobby, and just makes it to where less people have the ability, let alone the desire, to participate in Games Workshop or Warhammer products. And to me, that's very unfortunate, because I know that over the last 30 plus years, Warhammer, Games Workshop, the IP, the universe, the games have brought me so much joy, so much camaraderie. A lot of my best friends I've either made or enjoyed Warhammer with. I love that I can meet random strangers in real life or on the internet that I don't know anything about, I've never spoken to before, and we can share something so rich and fun and enjoyable as Games Workshop and Warhammer. So the idea that the prices keep going up and that that's going to stop people from being able to participate in the game or in the hobby, honestly, makes me sad. And I know that when you guys see a video like this, or we get an announcement like this, you're naturally either sad or angry. You're more likely to hit the dislike button or leave a nasty comment. And you know what? I'm okay with it, because I feel the same way too, guys. So as much as I like being right about stuff and predicting the future, when I made that video on January 29th, 2024, predicting Games Workshop would be rising prices once again, I would have rather been wrong, because honestly, this sucks. And it seems like every day, every week, every month, there's just one more reason for people to hate Games Workshop. But when I honestly think about it, when I legitimately sit here and say, are Games Workshop giving us more, or are we just paying more for the same amount or less? I definitely get mixed feelings, because I try to approach that question without bias. And when I think about the game state, when I think about the fun that I'm having playing with my friends, when I think about the models and the quality and just how awesome they look all painted up, I can definitely tell you that Warhammer is the best it's ever been. But I can also say with 100% confidence that Games Workshop is the worst it's ever been. So let me know what you think down below. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop products. Keep in mind that these increases go into effect on June 10th. So if you do want to grab anything up at the current prices before the increase, make sure that you get it before then. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and this definitely sucks. And I'm out of here.